I was talking to a student this morning, and we were just discussing his business. This is someone who's been with me since 2009. It's a wonderful story. It's a really great story. And we're just looking at the number of things that now exist that didn't exist a few years ago for the resale business. Because I look at when I first bought that unit, that first janky storage unit, well over a decade ago, and I look at what's out there today, and many of these innovations, these tools, these things that can really help you grow your business did not exist. Facebook didn't exist when I started in the storage auction business. And to really add fuel to the fire, when I started doing the YouTube thing, the blogging thing, the consulting thing, the book thing, a lot of these apps didn't exist. It was like, holy moly. I mean, seriously, because some of the stuff that's out there, if it existed when I was in the business, we're talking steroids, just total steroids, because immutable business principles never change. They don't. Tools change, populations change, but certain principles don't. You have to have something that people want to buy. You need a way to sell it and a way to collect money. That's never going to change. But how you do it has vastly changed. This person who had a job, and it was really, really funny because the first 8 months because this person would email me, and my students and people I consult with, 99.8% is like, don't mention me on YouTube or don't talk about my business because they're doing well. This is the thing. Everyone that's doing well isn't like raising their paw going, look at me, look at me. A lot of them are like, yeah, I'm just making that money. I mean, seriously, that's the deal. That's what's really going on. The best units, the best scores, the best finds, typically, you're never going to hear about it. And this guy's had an awesome year. This is his story. First found out about me, and it was just for the storage auction stories. There's like several different camps of people on this channel. There are people who like the storage auction stories. There are people who like the business advice. There are people who like both. It's all over the place. Well, he was the stories because he had a good job. He was doing well. And things were going well for him in his life. And then, booyah, downsized. Didn't even get his severance paid because the company did all this wacky stuff and the money wasn't even there. He was lucky to get unemployment. So he came back to the channel, watched the videos. At the time, it was only like maybe 100, if that many back then. Bought the first books, took my webinar, and within 2.5 years has built a thriving resale business that has exceeded his income that he was making when he had a job. The other side of that is he's working harder than he's ever worked before, working more days, is hard pressed to take a vacation, but he's happy. And when he goes home at night, knowing that his family's provided for, that is the best feeling in the world. And we just kind of discussed some stuff because there's some people I've become friends with and we just talk. The automation of things that you can do to really grow your business. And we're just talking, and then he's like, hey, you know what? You need to do a webinar about this because it's different. It's really, 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 really different what's going on now. Because things that were optional, selling on Amazon, selling on eBay, selling at the flea market, selling, that stuff was kind of optional because I could have opened up a store and went to the flea market and called it a day and still made really good money. But it wasn't enough for me because I always felt those channels were limiting. Well, it's 2013 and there are still people doing 1 or 2 channels. There are still people who are not really pushing their resale business because it doesn't matter if you're a picker. It doesn't matter if you're a storage auction hound. It doesn't matter if you are just a hustler. You have to have several selling channels today. It's a must-have. It's just price of admission. You have to do it to play the game well. Now, you can play the game janky, or you can play like your knees all crippled up or something, but if you want to be successful, you're going to have to expand your business. Now, what's the best way to do that? Buy more? Spend more? No! Have a strategy. The number one thing that I see and hear is that people are going into business with no real strategy. Not so much a business plan. To me, business plans are like Moby Dick, great works of fiction, because there's many things that are assumed. And you really don't know until you actually go out there in the world and see what's going to happen with that business plan. Well, today, I've been thinking about it. This is for all you people who like that F-R-E-E word, you're probably going to get a Woody. But next week, January 15th, for 1 hour, I've put together this really nice webinar, how to grow your resale business in 2013. So hit the link below and you can be there. It's a webinar, and if you've never been to a webinar, you can ask questions, but I'll have you type them, because if you have everyone's mic live, then you hear dogs barking, all kinds of crazy stuff. So that kicks off 8 p.m. next week. Now, with my client, I'm looking at it because he shared some numbers with me. This is a guy who was making $45,000 a year. It's $45,000. Now, where he lives, that's a lot of money. Okay, because some of you are going, 45. I'm in Los Angeles. You're starving on $45,000 out here. You can't even buy cheese and bologna. Where he is in the country, that's very good income. Well, his wife didn't work, because where he is in the country, that's very income, and it was enough for them. And there's other things too, because father left them a little cheese. They don't have a large mortgage on their house. They're very conservative people, so they don't spend a lot of money on stuff. So they have a very, very cozy and comfortable lifestyle. But I don't care how cozy or comfortable your lifestyle may be, when someone says, you no longer have a job, player, things get pretty rocky really quick. Because with all of those things going on, he didn't save any money. He was conservative. He had some investments, 401k, that stuff, but he really never saved money. And he got into business, and continued to watch the videos, and now the wife is involved. The kids are a little older, and they're in it, because the thing is, he has a physical store, but he's got the wife and the kiddos doing stuff at home. So the whole family's involved in this business, and he said it's actually brought everyone closer together, because the kids are like, hey, Dad, when are you going to let me list stuff on eBay? They're just like, I want to do it. And, he's like, that makes me proud that my kids want to do something like that. And it's like, it would have never happened if I've never gotten laid off. So we're just going through these things, and he is over 6 figures. I'm not going to give you definitive figures, but he's over 6 figures gross. And it's just a different world for him. It's just a totally different world. Now, this was not within months or 6 months, 2.5 years now. The big money. Because 6 figures is big money. I don't care what anyone says. It's big money. That happened last year. And one of the reasons it happened is because he listened to the videos. You have to push your business. You have to push your business. There are many people who are in business and they're kind of just coasting. Before the chimers come in, it's my right to coast if I want to be. If you feel that going out and spending your whole Saturday looking for stuff, or going out every day 2 to 4 hours scouting for stuff to flip on FBA, and you're not doing it to the best of your ability, you don't have the best tools, and you don't have the best strategy, and you're happy with that, well, go on with your bad self, boo-boo. Be happy. But for folks who are going like, I don't want that, listen on. So the strategy is the most important thing, because on one of my blogs, Passive Income Sensei, it's about philosophy. There's a video up here on YouTube about what is your philosophy, because when you're just out there doing stuff, you can get good results or you can get bad results, because There's no rhyme, there's no reason. You're just like, I'm throwing stuff against the wall. That stuck. Cool. Now that didn't stick. Yeah, that stuff. I mean, you're getting results, but you're not getting the best results because there was no well-defined strategy. I have someone, another student, that said straight up, don't want to open a store. I don't want the responsibility of a store, and there's certain things I don't want to do, and I want to be free to travel. We designed something for her that worked for her, and she started making more money. And this is the thing: she was only in the business when three going on 4 months, probably over a half a year now. And she is a hustler. I mean, it just cracks me because some of the stuff she has figured out a way to make her resale business work for her life. And she's just good with it. But she had a goal and a philosophy. She knew she just wanted to make X amount of dollars. She wasn't looking to make $1 million or anything. She said, if I can make this per month, I'm good. Because I want to travel with my husband. And after our first few sessions, she was there, and it's just reframing your mind and having a strategy and having a philosophy. I have another student, housewife. She just wanted to make $300 a month. And her reason was so motivating because, I've had to learn how to step back and look at people where they are versus where I think they should be or where I think that's really none of my business. It's like, this is where you are. You want to get here. How can we figure that out? And she, I'm just sitting there like $300 a month and, I hear the story and there's not one, there's not two, but there's 3 kids. When you have 3 kids and you're a young married couple, daycare makes no sense. It doesn't. I mean, we're talking about $800, $1,200 a week. Doesn't make any sense. And she's like, her reason to make $300 a month is she wanted enough money to pay a babysitter and go out to dinner and a movie twice a month with her husband. That's all she wanted. That's all she wanted. It cracks me up because at the time, it was like one of my most expensive courses. And I was just like, she's just like, this is money I had saved. My husband didn't even know I'm spending it. He'd be mad if he knew. And I'm just sitting there like, you want to make $300? Okay, we're going to make that happen. We did a few things, worked out a course. She's doing about $2,000 a month now. Staying at home with the kiddies. And it's really about, so for those of you who want to make money, there's ways because it's nuts right now. The opportunity, it's freaking nuts because the thing with resale is also the bitch of resale. The joy and the bitch live on the same coin. You must go out and procure your inventory. First, you must know what to buy. Then you have to go out and buy it. Then you have to find it. Then you have to find it at the right place. And there's all these variables. And you really can't automate that. Which on one side is a bitch, but on the other side is the joy. Because as long as you can't automate it, it means there's opportunity. And the harder it is to do this, the more opportunity for the people that figure it out and put in methodologies and strategies. Because I can tell you right now, I have one person who was just like, I want to pick your brain. Bought 2 hours of consulting. This was a year ago. I don't want to do storage auctions. It's like, you scared me, rats, roaches. I don't want to meet Rodney. I'm not up for that. But, the Craigslist stuff works for me. And, I got your book. But I know you know more because I know you, and for, we worked out a plan. He's doing nothing but Craigslist. And that's all he does. That's it. He doesn't do storage auctions. He does Craigslist. He doesn't do eBay. He does Craigslist. He doesn't do Amazon. He does Craigslist. That's all he does. And he makes a very good living for him because his thing is music. He makes enough money to pay his rent, buy food, pay his bills, put gas in the car, so he can devote most of his time creating music. I'm getting a lot of people like that that's like, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and how can I get enough money to sustain me? And while I'm doing X, Y, and Z, because he's just like, he's like, look, dude, I don't want to do the storage. No, because I'm not trying to do that. That's not my passion in life. So that's the thing, because there are many people that I've talked to, and what's really, really funny, and it's very, very surprising to me, because all information has an expiration date. Sooner or later, it's going to be not as effective, or it's going to be watered down, or something's going to happen. It's going to happen. It happens with everything. But for some reason, and I think I figured it out, I'm not 100% sure, it's because I never treated my storage auction business as a storage auction business. I treated it as a sales-based enterprise, which means I'm always pushing, always reading, always doing something. I mean, I can say without a doubt, I was the only one here in Georgia with a Dell laptop and a Verizon Air card out there maximizing and being more efficient. And I was it. I know for a fact it was, because people at that time, there was a lot of people, they weren't even on eBay. So I know that. And then it's that type of innovation that has allowed me to help people today, because I've been in business pretty much since 2000. And before that, there was other businesses, even in the military, I was always doing that. And that stuff is just kind of coming together, that I can look at someone and say, okay, this is your situation, and this is what's going to work for you. And the reason this happened is I have failed so many times, to the point that I'll try anything. I was like, I'm going to try it. If it didn't work out, I'm not going to say I'm going to throw a party when it doesn't work out, because failure's not a nice thing. But I'm at a point where I realize that the benefits outweigh the bad side, the negative outcome. Because you do something and you don't succeed, you can become depressed. It damages your self-esteem. But what I've learned is, when you stack up enough stuff that's wrong, there's a story in there. There's a story. There's lessons. There's so much stuff in that negative, in that failure, that you could pull out and be successful. And I've learned, the more times that I fail, later on, I make more money. All the times in my life, early in my life, when I played it safe, I struggled. It's kind of weird, because, when I sit back and I'm kind of, because doing the hustler mindset, talking to people, I just look at stuff. I was just like, damn, I was really, really deep in the matrix, because many of the things that you're fed actually don't work, but because they're socially acceptable, people subscribe to them. Like, the deal is, we're getting a college degree. If you get the wrong degree at the wrong school and you pay too much, that decision can hamper your financial blueprint and map for the rest of your life. And it's been like that for about 15 years, but now people are kind of like, when I'm seeing stuff like, they're having this conversation on mainstream news and mainstream, it's like, well, college degree ain't really the best. And I heard that the other day, and I was like, people vilify me when I say that. And I've been saying it for years, because it's about specific knowledge that's relevant to a specific group of people that you can leverage into income. That's it. It's that simple. If you have this vast pool of knowledge that no one gives a shit about, that you really can't leverage it into a dime, understand, if you want to go to school and get a degree in art because you love art, that's a wonderful thing. But if you go to school and get a degree in art and graduate with a 3.8, but are pissed because you don't have a six-figure job, you are boo-boo the fool. The two concepts do not overlap. Unless your dad's rich and owns a art gallery and he cakes your ass off. That's a whole different story, because you could have did that without even going to college. That's called nepotism. But yeah, people hate that too, because I have a very good friend, and that was her situation, and she didn't want to own up to it, that whether she did well in school or not, it really didn't freaking matter, because her life was going to be great, because most people are born here. She was born here. Just came out the womb, right into platinum. That's just how it was. So understand, specialized knowledge, and this is the thing, and this is another thing that helps me to help you. I never stop learning, because if you haven't seen the thing about, pimping Craigslist, the Chrome Edition audiobook, is because I made a mistake and I didn't put the social media stuff in there right. Because when I wrote the first Pimping Craigslist book, There's certain things that are very helpful, certain things that are very resourceful. It didn't exist. So, I'm just sitting there like, dang. And it's like, okay, I got to put that in there, because it has to be relevant. I have to put that in there. So I put a pause button, like, pause. So I can put that in there because I do use social media. And actually, in the Hustle Mindset, I do have a social media lecture because it is and it isn't what you think it is. You can get carried away with it with little to no results. There's a certain way that you have to work social media to make it work for you. But that stuff we'll talk about. But hey, if you want to learn something different, if you're looking to increase your resale business, check out the link below. We rock and roll 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, January the 15th. And if you don't make it, I'm going to record it and put it up somewhere. So, because I'm learning, I'm getting strong in the force like young Skywalker. All right, this is Glendon, and I'll see you on the other side.